In this video, we're going to work through a couple problems involving special right triangles, specifically 30, 60, and 90 triangles. And if you look at the left of our screen, you're going to see this diagram, which shows us what a 30, 60, 90 triangle is and how the sides relate to each other. So a 30, 60, 90 triangle is a right triangle that has three angles measuring 30 degrees, 60 degrees, and 90 degrees. So this little box right here means this angle measures 90 degrees. And you will see these expressions for the different side lengths in this triangle. And what's special about this type of triangle is that the side lengths are always in a nice ratio. So this tells us that if the short side, so the side across from 30 degrees, is equal to x, the longer leg, right, the one across from 60 degrees, is equal to x times, so it's equal to x times root 3. And the hypotenuse is equal to x times 2. So this is going to be true for any 30, 60, 90 triangle. I'm just going to go ahead and erase these for now. So let's just jump into an example problem so I can show you guys how to use this, because I think it's going to be easier if we're actually doing some problems. So if we take a look at example 1, we are given a 30, 60, 90 triangle, and we are given the side across from 30 degrees. So we are given this 5 miles, which is this side in our diagram. So now what we want to do is find x and y. So let's find x first. So we're going to try to map this to the diagram on the left. So if we're looking at the diagram on the left, we know that to get from this side measuring x to our longer leg, we have to multiply by the square root of 3. So what we're going to do, I'm going to draw that here, we have to multiply by the square root of 3. So over here, I'm going to write that x is equal to 5 times the square root of 3. And we can't really do much with that multiplication, so we're just going to write that x is equal to 5 root 3 miles. Now we're going to do a similar thing to find the hypotenuse, but we've got to use the rule from the diagram on the left. So if we look at the diagram on the left, to get from the short side to our hypotenuse, we have to multiply by 2. So we have to multiply by 2 in our problem. So y is going to be equal to our short side, which is 5 miles, times 2, and 5 times 2 is 10. So we get that our hypotenuse is equal to 10 miles. Let's take a look at example 2. So this time we are given the hypotenuse. So if you are not given the short side, if you're given the hypotenuse or the long side, you always need to find the short side first. So we can't go from hypotenuse to long leg very easily, and we can't go from the longer leg to the hypotenuse very easily. So I'm going to say that one more time. If you're given the hypotenuse or the longer leg of the triangle, what you want to do first is find the shorter leg. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go and erase what we were just drawing before right here. So this time we are given the hypotenuse, and we want to find the shorter side first. So we have to think, how do we get from the hypotenuse to the shorter leg? Well, we need to divide by 2. So we need to divide by 2. So x is going to be equal to 12 divided by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So we get that x is equal to 6 inches. So I'll just write 6 here. And now we can use that to find y, because we know how to go from the short side to the long side. So now in our diagram, to go from the shorter leg to the longer leg, we know we need to multiply by the square root of 3. So we need to multiply by the square root of 3. So y is going to be equal to our short side, which is 6, times the square root of 3, which is just 6 root 3, and our units are inches. So we get that y is equal to 6 root 3 inches. Let's go through one more example where we're given the longer leg first. So for this last example, we are given the longer leg of our triangle. So remember, if we are given the longer leg or the hypotenuse, we have to find the shorter leg first. So we're going to go over to our diagram on the left and think about how we get from the long leg to the short leg. So the long leg is x root 3 and the short leg is x. So to get from x root 3 to x, you have to divide by the square root of 3. So that's what we're going to have to do here. We're going to have to divide by the square root of 3. So x is going to be equal to 6 divided by the square root of 3. And now we have to get the square root of 3 out of the denominator. So we're going to multiply the top and bottom of the fraction by the square root of 3. On the top, we get 6 root 3. On the bottom, root 3 times root 3 is just 3. And finally, we can simplify 6 over 3 to 2. So we get 2 root 3 is equal to x. Just box that answer. And over here, I'll write 2 root 3 is equal to x. And now that we have our short side, we can easily find our hypotenuse. So we're going to go back to the diagram on the left. We're going to think, how do we get from x to 2x? Well, to get from x to 2x, we have to multiply by 2. So that's what we're going to do in problem 3. We need to multiply our short side by 2 to find y. So y is equal to 2 root 3 times 2. And to multiply roots and whole numbers, you're just going to multiply the two numbers on the outside. So for the two whole numbers, the ones not inside the root. So 2 times 2 is 4, and we have this root 3, and our units are feet. So we get that y is equal to 4 root 3 feet, and I should have put units on our x. So we get that x is equal to 2 root 3, and y is equal to 4 root 3 feet. So hopefully this video gave you guys a bit of an introduction to 30, 60, 90 triangles. If you want some more practice with problems similar to these, check out the link in our description for a free practice worksheet.